Amanda, because
Okay.
that was awesome. Okay, sweet Amanda, you're going to be watching this later, and anybody else who's watching these trainings. And we just had the most beautiful thought. And I hadn't recorded it because we hadn't had prayer yet. But I just want you to know it was the sweetest thing. And Jody was talking about the need to find the hand of the Lord in our lives daily. And that Elder Cosse talk from Come Follow Me. Absolutely love. And I think that's a huge thing. And she was making the point to write it down, to see it, and then write it down. And I love that. That is beautiful. Keep that going. I think it's beautiful. I write in my gratitude journal at night and I put little TM, like I've mentioned before, for tender mercy. And when I'm having a hard day, I love just flipping through the pages, and I can see these circled TMs where I'm like, I know he was watching over me. That was a tailored personal thing, even if it's a really small thing. So thank you. That was beautiful. And we are assuming that she will be on as soon as she possibly can, because she's got meetings. I think she had said she has meetings, and this week it's crazy because of the last week of school. I love that you shared that. Thank you so much, Jody. Oh, and I'm going to pause it because we do need a prayer. It is the last week of school if anybody's watching this later, so just give us some grace. All right. Okay, so I just wanted to first, I thought what we could do is return a report. And then I know we had talked about last week about the tier 1. And I thought maybe I could just go over it quickly. Amanda, this is probably helpful because Amanda's already gone through it. So I thought maybe it'd be good if I went through the tier 1 staircase, that service staircase with you, just kind of briefly.
Well, and I think I really want to know what that looks like as a DTLA. I know that, you know, we're doing kind of, it's like, I feel like I'm doing both. And it's one of those things that I'm starting to go, okay, after our call on Wednesday, I was thinking, I need more energy rich type things, you know, where I feel like I'm playing both sides of the fence, and I go, I really want to focus DTLA. I really
thought
do.
The same thing. I thought the same thing because I was talking with Lamira, and I'm like, I mean, I think Amanda could do that because she's already been through so much of the program for a year. But where you're new, I just feel like you just need to not worry about, if that's okay with you, and it sounds like it is, that you don't worry about the signature fingerprint part, that you just jump in and dive in and be all DTLA, and don't worry about any of that. Is that all right then?
Yes, that's what I prefer to do. And I go, that's my, you know, when you were talking about, you know, what, you know, focusing your business and that kind of thing, I thought, you know, I really need to figure out what is feeding me, what is my passion. And I go, really, my passion is what you're doing. So I'm
just
like,
teach me how you do what you do.
Just teach me how you do what you do, and let me help you do it, because that's where I feel like, you know, and at the same time, I also go, you know, I do have all of my blogs in one thing that I go, okay, it's in a, you know, I need to massage that for a book. I know that's done. I don't feel like.
Well, here's the thing. For DTLA, we have you go through, it's actually a year-long program, but we're going to squish that. So when we get to the writing piece, because you need to have something that you've written and published, we will use your book for that. So worry not. What I'm doing right now, we're starting with the speaking, and we're kind of, we're not Jimmy Rick, but we're kind of dovetailing pieces in. So instead of going speaking, writing, media, what I'm doing is having you do speaking, and then we're doing retreat and coaching, and then we're going to come back to that. The reason why is because we have a retreat coming up. You're going to be presenting there a thought, right? You're going to be presenting, and I would love to talk to you about just the different pieces that are available that you could potentially present. I just need to make sure you know how to present, the way we do it, DTLA, all of those things. So that's what I'm going to be working with you on. I actually have a list right here of the Jody things and the Amanda things. So where I did this as a beta test before with a couple of women, we were doing the same thing together. With you two, it's going to be different. I'm going to be more of, Friday's going to probably be more of one bit of teaching that you two both need, and then Q&A. But then I'm going to probably meet with you individually during the week so that I can tailor it to where you're at in your DTLA training. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's things that you'll need, but Amanda just finished the speaking track, and I'm asking you to start the speaking track next week. Does that still sit good with you?
Yes. Yeah.
Great. So we're going to take you through that speaking track so that you can get, that's a huge piece for the DTLA. But in the meantime, I'm going to be taking you through some of these other things for retreat prep and coaching tips and things like that. So when you get to the retreat, you know how to sit and coach with the women. You're going to be in those groups and things like that. So if that makes sense.
Yes.
We're good?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. So let's go through, actually, let's go ahead and go through the tier 1. And then we'll, first of all, wait, let me reach for the report. Did you get a chance to watch the modules for this last week? I didn't know if it was too crazy.
I didn't. Yeah, no, I didn't get them until like last night. And I'm going, I know it was like, what I did was I thought we were talking about, the speaking thing. So I went back to my book and, so I kind of went over the seller speaking, the presence, performance, and payoff. I did some practicing. I thought about and really started kind of massaging like my origin story based upon what, as I went through this, what parts of it that I could bring in that would continue. Cause I know that was something you talked about before was, like you take your story and then you kind of refer back to that same story again, but now it's the different piece. It's this part of it.
That's what we're going to do today. So that's what I asked you last week is if you did just great, just writing out the origin story and just fine tuning it if you've already had it, because we asked everyone to do it before a retreat, but then different ideas come and different things can change, but we're going to go through that and leverage that today, piece it out. So you've got the pain point, the catalyst, the signature solution, and you know those clearly so that when you're talking with the women, you know which piece you want to pull into play. So let's start with the tier 1, and that's as a DTLA. And then I also wanted to, why is it not showing? I also wanted to go through I have 3 different keynotes that I wanted to make sure, hang on. 3 different keynotes are different versions of a keynote. So it's the same keynote. And that's what I'm asking you guys to do is to like start with the DTLA keynote. And I'm going to get your opinions on what you think that looks like. But I have 3 different ones, a business one, a personal one, and then a pain point one. And I wanted to show you how we take one kind of keynote. Why is this not sharing? We take one keynote and then we can like shift it and adjust it for a different aspect, but we're not changing the keynote completely, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And I don't know why this was all up and fabulous 2 seconds ago. And I'm like, what are you doing? I have it. It's beautiful. You should see it. It's a beautiful color graphic. And I've already uploaded it and it's beautiful. Why? Oh, that's not the one. Why is it showing a different one? I'm so sorry. Here, let me pause this first. It's just all right. Can you see that?
No, I can still you still.
You see me? All right. Let me go back to the share screen. Let's try this one more time. And do you see it?
Yes, it's coming up. It says it started, Sherry. There it is.
You got it?
Yep.
Yay. All right. Okay. This is the purpose-filled life business model. So we just recently changed everything on Wednesday, and Lamire's moving, like as in packing yesterday and moving today. So I did not make her refurbish it. So I'm like, don't stress it. It's good. I'll just take care of this and I'll just teach what we're doing. But I'll just give the changes as we go. So this is the way that we bring people in. And you know that what we do is on this service staircase, we have, the blank one that's in the guidebook and it has all the steps, right? We start with the platform, then we go to an opt-in, then we go to once they opt into an opt-in, then they go to the newsletter so we can track them. And then we go to the value offer and then we go to the one big thing. So for our DTLA way of doing this, we bring them into our social media. And the way we do that is through Studio 5, my speaking, my books, any of those big cast and net ways. That's how we make that happen. And where we funnel them is for sure to the social media. Specifically, we funnel them to our purpose-filled women group. Now, the reason why we keep it right now as purpose-filled women and we don't immediately go to a disciple thought leader is that same concept that we talk about, which is the up level. It's Aaronic, Melchizedek, it's baptism temple, right? So we bring them and help them understand about purpose and really get the why and to figure out what they feel the rumble to do. And then we lead them along to this is what you can do about it to fulfill it better. So we bring them into the purpose-filled women in social media. And then the opt-in is, for example, we do discovery call, and that's for a retreat. We do find your purpose challenge if we're talking about purpose. So we say, if you want to find your purpose, take our find your purpose challenge, or just watch and do the course. And that's 5 small videos with a download packet, and it's completely free. That's that one.
Right. That's the one that we did before the retreat. Right.
Exactly. So if you look at the number 3, we have the mini life plan. That's another big one that we do. And it's a 3-step life plan. We help them figure out what they want to do, and then what life areas they want to do it in, and then how to take their next right step. And that's just like a signature piece. And you can get access to all of these. I asked Lemire to block those out for you so that she can send it in an email, and you can see all those emails at a glance. I mean, opt-ins. It's actually in Member Vault, and it should be in the DTLA coaching track. But to make it easier, so you're not like, now where is that? We're going to have that in an email that you can just have an email and refer to it handy. So you're like, oh, I'm going to talk to someone, I'm talking on the phone, or which one is that email, the opt-in? And the email, the link is right there for that opt-in. So if you're talking to someone, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's that opt-in. Yep, here you go. I've got this free opt-in for you. So it should be easy. We have 10 ways to look great. That's just a 1-page download that helps people know how to look and feel great without losing weight. It's just posture, it's smile, it's all those kinds of things that really do work for great. Then we have a thing called 5-finger living, and it's a video. It's from a master class. It's about, I don't know, 5 to 7 minutes, I think. And I talk about how to do 5-finger living, where every day I do something for God, myself, my family, my ministry, and a spontaneous service. So I talk about how to do 5-finger living, so every day you can feel fulfilled. And then we have the purposeful living life shift quiz. And we just call it the life shift quiz. Right now, Lemire is making up a new one for disciple thought leaders specifically, but it's an orange card that if you see that, and it's what we do is it has a QR code on there, and it just funnels out their life questions. It's if they're feeling a rumble. And then we funnel them down at the end. They can do a discovery call, or leads them to like the Find Your Purpose challenge or something like that. So that's just like a little card. When we're out speaking, that's a great way to give it as a business card or anything like that. It's very easy, and it gives them an action step, and it gives them a freebie. And then the Joy Challenge is another challenge that we do once a year, where it's just 7 to 10 days of joy. It's little, they can hook in, and then they get these quotes, and they get these fun things, and it's just helping them to put joy in their lives daily. And then one that we don't use very often, just because I've moved away from a lot of the specifically just life balance stuff, but it's the 8 C's of raising stellar adults. And it's helping them to have communication and cash and all the things that they have to look at in their lives and go, okay, I need these 8 life areas before I leave home, kind of a thing. So those are our main lead magnets, and those are our opt-ins. And each one of them captures an email and puts them on our newsletter. And it always says on the bottom, you can unsubscribe anytime. And whenever we're introducing an opt-in, we always say, here's a free opt-in. It will automatically subscribe you to our newsletter, but you are more than welcome to unsubscribe anytime. Most people in this day and age get that, but we say that so that we can request their permission or make them aware so that they don't feel like there's anything underhanded going on.
Right.
So that's the opt-ins and newsletter. So the way that it works is we have our social media platform, and for the retreat, we lead them right to a discovery call. We don't have anything in between. We just lead them right to the discovery call. But for most, we do an opt-in, and then that leads them to the newsletter. Now, the next step for that, our value offer could be one of our online courses or my books, or like if we do a specialty thing, we're going to be doing some workshops, come and see workshops, where I'm kind of like Ashley's networking night, where we have a networking evening or a day workshop, and we have women come and be able to share what they're doing. And then we teach them some tips on how to be a more effective speaker, writer, or media presence or something like that. So it's helping them know about what we do, but also connecting them with other women. So we're going to be looking at doing those in the coming months. We're not sure exactly when, but that's something we want to keep that in mind, because that'll be a great thing for you to be able to do. That's where we want the DTLA to be very much involved in that.
Right.
Your head back and run that kind of a thing. Okay, so online courses we have 3 individual courses.
Okay, I'm using your audio.
Oh no. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it was just breaking up. Like it did get like they did the other day when you were doing the graduation thing. So
I so hope that my laptop is not losing it. Please no. No. All right. I'm going to think happy thoughts, but this is really good for me to know. I need to maybe look at that. Thank you. I did not realize that. Let me know if it happens again.
Yeah.
So the online courses right now, we have 3. There's Find Your Purpose, Get Fit and Fabulous, and Get Organized. And those were always the top 3 things. Oh, it might be that it's low juice. It's at 20%. Let me try that and see if that helps. So those 3 individual courses, what we've done before is we sell them for, I think it was $97 a piece, but we bundled it and you could get the bundle. So you get all 3 online courses for $97 or something like that. We don't do that a lot anymore, like I said, because we're emphasizing more of the disciple thought leader, but that is something like at Christmas we'll put on sale, or if it's something we feel like is really helpful, like at Vibrant Living Conference, we could have done something like that. But just so you know, that is available if people are like, I don't really want to retreat, but I want something else kind of in the interim. Then an online course, it has anywhere from 8 to 10 small modules, and it has a download packet and downloads, and it's got great stuff, great content, literally, that will really help them move forward in their lives. So it's totally worth it. We just don't provide any coaching or anything with those anymore.
Right, right.
And then on my books, I have 18 that I've written, but we have about 5 that we just mostly emphasize. So we have What's Next. Actually, it's in a series, and you got those books when you went to the retreat. It's the What Now, and it's kind of in a 3-step. The What Now is how to solve a problem, any life problem. Then What's Next is a 3-step life plan that goes in depth. And then the last one is Faithful, Fit, and Fabulous. And that's how to make your life balanced in 8 life areas. So that's kind of that beginner, let's get you set first. And then you can focus on becoming a DTL, that where you're really focused on being a speaker, writer, and a media presence. That's the idea behind it. The other books that we have are seasonal, 40 Days with the Savior. So coming up for, just recently for Easter. And when we have Christmas, we do that one. In the fall, we have Simplify and Savor the Season, which is getting organized for the holidays. There's Motherhood Matters. We just did that for Mother's Day. That's a gift book. So we have a couple of that are more just seasonal that we just only do, once or twice a year. So about 7, maybe 5 to 7 that we really emphasize. Basically 5 that we emphasize all the time, but then those seasonal ones. Any questions?
Nope. Understand it.
If you're talking with someone, and I want to make sure that this makes sense in how you're going to share this, whether the people are when we do the retreat, we talk about those harvest clients and the seedling, and then the growing, and then the harvest client. When you're talking with them and you can see they're not ready for a retreat, but they're really interested, where would you recommend sending someone who, if you're talking to them, they're like, oh, I love what you're doing, but my stage of life right now, I just don't think a retreat's in my thing. And I don't know that I want to go so full bore on that. Where would you recommend them going on that?
Well, I'd want them to go to the opt-in, and then maybe then go ahead and move on to the online courses. I mean, if they're kind of like, oh yeah, I don't know, then at least, but this gives me a really good, I'm telling you, I have these people in my head that I go, ooh, yeah, this is where, there's a couple of them, but I really, actually, my 2 girlfriends last night, I just said, you have to go to retreat. So decide when
let's get you there. I love that. And that's exactly what you would do. And again, we're doing coaching tips next week. I encourage you to do a lot of find out. So when you're talking with them and saying, okay, so it sounds like you just want a little bit of something, like a little nibble, right? Or other people are gonna be like, I want a meal, but I don't want like a full buffet. I just want something to see some results. Right. Then you can ask them, so are you feeling like you want to physically do something more first? Or do you feel like you just need to organize your home and get things clear? Or do you feel like, man, I just got to figure out my purpose. Like, what am I doing? Right. That will help you be able to know which course or which book would be the most helpful. And they're like, well, I want a little bit of everything. You're like, you need Faithful, Fit, and Fabulous book, because that has all 8 life areas, short chapters, 3 things you can choose from. And each of those chapters that are time tested will get you results. And it's in 8 life areas: organization, fitness, joy, all the things. So start with the book, and you'll get to know Connie and the principles and see what you think and feel, and then move on from there. Does that make sense? So yes. You're really tailoring it to what they want. If other women are just like, I just need some kind of a spiritual pick-me-up, 40 Days with the Savior, right? It's just quick, it's down and dirty, it's daily devotional. So again, it might be good. And in fact, what we could do, you know what, this brings up a good question. It hasn't come up before, but I think this might be good. We can make a download snippet that has a little back blurb of each of the books. And then we could put underneath what would be the best use of that book. So if someone's looking for blah, 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 then this would be a good book. So I'll just make up a little download for that, because I think that might be actually more helpful. Okay, so just be thinking when you're talking to them. Now, if you're talking to someone, you can tell they're very interested in the retreat. Obviously, the next thing we do is the retreat. And then we do after that is the DTLC, the leadership circle. So when we're talking with them about the retreat, we already went through that last week of how you would qualify them for the retreat. We just lead them right to the discovery call. You can decide how much you want to share and how much you want to share, how much you want me to share, but I will take them through briskly that qualifying thing all over again for me. And as I'm listening, if you've already done that, then I can just touch on it. But then I will also go into what we do at the retreat, how it benefits them, and then the DTLC if they want to know more about it. So when I'm talking with people, I literally am just doing mostly find out, say you're talking with one of your friends, you're at a game, you're at a whatever, you're just finding out lots of information. And then at the end, you're basically like you're weaving in, oh, it sounds like you could use, it sounds like you're looking for, it sounds like, is that sounding right to you? Then you're going to share, I think what would be really helpful for you is I have this gal that I'm working with and she does these retreats and this is where I went and this is what I found. And this was the outcome that I received. And it sounds like that's the outcome that you're looking for. And then you can kind of talk to her about, and then, okay, well, if you want to find out more, you can talk with her directly. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. No, one of them, in fact, you know, I mean, I've just talked about my own experience for the most part. And that's why I said, I go, yeah, you know, I've touched on, they know me very well. And I just, you know, but I have one, she's on the cusp. There's some things going on. And I'm like, you know, she can turn one way or another. And I can really tell that she is, you know, she's reinventing, you know, her business again. And I'm like, so I just basically said, you know, really, I think this would really benefit you, you know, and so she's
point.
Yeah. And so, and it was funny because the other gal says, oh yeah, I looked up Connie and, and she's like, oh, there's some things, you know, there's some definite things that, you know, I really think I could use. Maybe and she's like telling her, I think we should probably go together to that. And I'm like, yeah. And I said, hopefully, you know, I mean, in September, I said, I'm going to be doing this one in June, but I said, hopefully in September, I'll be doing a lot more, you know, at that point, and we'll all be there together and we can, you know, and so I think I pretty much had him sold on that last night. That's what I said. So, you know, I'm going, now it's just leading him to the discovery call at this point. I need to have him sign on.
I love that. That's exactly it. Because when you're talking, you can see, oh my gosh, this is a match. This is exactly what you need. I just talked with a gal yesterday and she signed up and we were talking about where she's at, what she needs. And I'm like, she said, but is that what you do? I said, if you're looking for this, this, and this is exactly what we do. So it is a match. So I worry not. Like all I need to do was assure her, yes, you want to know about speaking, writing a book, all these things. Yes, these are the things, the very things that we're going to help you do. So that's beautiful. And that's this tier of we're not selling anything. We're finding where are they at and then making the match and finding the fit for where they're at. Because once they get that thing that they need at that moment, then they'll want more, because this will be the thing that they're like, that was satiating. That was a result. I want more. What do you have next? Right. So that's where we have the DTL, obviously the certification, you already know, and all of that. And then the DTLC leadership, and that leadership, we can talk more about that later. But the leadership thing is more of that, you know, tier 3 executive mastermind. And with the DTLAs, you kind of go into your own group not on your own, like you're part of that executive mastermind, but you are really signature, your hub, your core for us. So you're kind of like, you get additional focus and training and kind of attention and all the things, because you're really mini us. So that's kind of the tier 1 staircase. Does that make sense? Are there any questions on that?
No, that makes really good sense.
Perfect. All right, we will come out of that